mathematicians. Today we are going to look at factoring and the distributive property. Factoring is doing the distributive property backwards. Right? So you're going to divide or pull out what both pieces have in common. So I need to make it look like something outside and then something inside parentheses. So first I want to look at my numbers, 16 and 4. We want to find the greatest common factor, or the largest value that goes into both 16 and 4 evenly. It is 4. If you said 2, 2 does divide evenly into both, but it's not the biggest. So 4 is the largest value. Now I'm going to distribute backwards, meaning I'm going to divide. So 16 divided by 4 is 4. All right. And do they both have an A in common? Nope, so I have to leave the A. Plus 4 divided by 4, 1, and the B. So you can put 1 or 1B. So take out what they both have in common. Look at number 2. If I look at the values 3 and 2, can I take out a number or can I divide them both by the same thing? No. 3 and 2 have nothing in common. However, each piece has a what? A P. So can I take a P out of them? Yes. I can take one P out of both of them. Left over would be 3. And P squared, if I take a P out, will be P plus 2. And if I take a P out, we will have no P's left. So find what you can divide the numbers by, if anything, or if they have any variables in common. Take a look at this next one. 3x squared y minus 9xy squared plus 36xy. There are 3 terms. So when I look at this, I need to look at all 3 pieces. If I take anything out, all 3 pieces have to have it. So let's look at 3, 9, and 36. What can we divide 3, 9, and 36 all by? 3. So I'm going to divide all of them by 3. Let's look at variables. Do all of them have an x? Yes. What's the largest number of x's that they have? 1. So I didn't leave enough space. So I'm going to have 3x. They all have at least one x. And what about y? Do they all have a y? Yes. What's the largest number of y's they have in common? Well, this one and this one only have one y, so I can only take one y out. But I can only take out variables if all 3 pieces have them. So if I divide this by 3, it is 1. And I can put a 1 there, or I don't need to. I'm taking an x out. So if I have x squared, take out an x, what's left? X. And I have a y, take out a y. Do I have any y's left? No. Minus, I'm going to do it again for this term, 9 divided by 3, 3. I am taking out an x, so how many x's will be left? None. So I don't need to write it. Y squared, take out a y, and that is y left. Plus 36 divided by 3 is 12. X, take out the x. No x is left. Y, take out the y. No y is left. What could you do to check to make sure this was the correct answer? Distribute and make sure that you get the answer back. So you could check this. Go ahead and distribute this. 3x times x, x squared y. 3 times negative 3, negative 9. X, y times y, y squared. 3 times 12 plus 36, x, y. Is this what I started with? Yes, so my answer was correct. The next factoring we're going to look at is grouping, and you do this when you have 4 terms. Now to do grouping, I'm going to look at the first 2 together and the second 2 together. I'm going to look at greatest common factor for 6 and 15. What can I divide both 6 and 15 by? 3. And do they have any variables in common? An x. How many do they have in common? This one only has 1, so they have 1 in common. So 6 divided by 3, 2. X squared, take out an x, x. 15 divided by 3, negative 5. And x, take out an x, none left. If I look here, this is negative 8 and 8x and 20. So I'm going to have the minus, and 8 and 20 both have 4 in common. So I'm going to divide by a negative 4. So divide by negative 4, negative 8 divided by negative 4 is 2x. 20 divided by negative 4, negative 5. What do you notice about inside the parentheses? They are the same. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the ones out front into their own parenthesis. And then the part that repeats has one parenthesis of its own. So pull out what is out front, and then the repeat part goes inside. Nice job. Try this next one on your own. Let's see how you did. If I look at the first 2 terms, what do they have in common that I can divide both by? 5, and they both have a. If I divide by 5a, we are left with 5 divided by 5 is 1. Take out an a, we're left with b. Minus 35 divided by 5. Minus 7, and there's an a. Take out an a, no more a's. 3 and negative 21. Take out a plus 3. 3 divided by 3, 1, and there is a b left over. Negative 21 divided by 3, negative 7. What did you put together? 5a plus 3, the outside pieces go together. And what goes in the next parenthesis? b minus 7. There is your factored answer. Nice job. The last thing we're going to look at today is solving equations. The zero product property says if you have something times another and it equals 0, so 2 things multiply to equal 0, we know one of them must equal 0. So when we solve, I'm going to set each part equal to 0. So this is 3n times n plus 2 equals 0. So one of these has to be 0. So I'm going to set both of them equal to 0. Solve for n. Divide by 3. 0 divided by anything is 0. What about here? How do you solve for n? Minus 2, minus 2, n equals minus 2. those are the two values that could go in here to make this equal 0. When we look at number 2, there's a problem. I don't have a multiplication yet. I need to factor this. So I need to look at what can I take out of both of these. So 7 and negative 35 can both be divided by 7. And both terms have at least one d. 7 divided by 7 is 1. D squared, take out a d. 1d is left. Negative 35 divided by 7. Negative 5. And d, take out the d. No more d's left. How do we solve this? It's a multiply, so if I want to solve, each piece has to equal 0. Solve for d, divide by 7, d equals 0. And what about here? Add 5, d equals 5. There are our two solutions. Factor, set each piece equal to 0. Try this next one on your own. Let's see how you did. The first thing we had to do, if I want this to equal 0, what can I take out of these? An x. What's left when I take out an x? X, and take out an x here, minus 10. If I want it to equal 0, both parts have to equal 0. So the front part equals 0, or this inside part equals 0. This one's already solved for us. What do I have to do here? Add 10 on both sides. X equals 10. So my two options for x are 0 and 10. Factor, set both pieces equal to 0. Nice job today, mathematicians.